Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Glad to welcome you back to the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's time for another edition of Crimson Drive on this Thursday afternoon. It's our weekly talk show that we have here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and today some great conversations plus a little celebration coming up as we take a look at Alabama athletics. Let's get into the show for this Thursday, April 22nd, 2021, and we'll start by taking a look at some headlines. Well, coming up on the show, I mentioned some conversations. We have interviews with two of the Wilsons, John Parker Wilson, former Crimson Tide quarterback, and our color analyst on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He'll talk about A-Day plus what he's seen from the next Wilson we talked to, Peyton Wilson, second baseman for the Crimson Tide baseball team, and gives us a great breakdown on how he's feeling at the plate this year. He leads the SEC in hits overall, and just a great conversation with Peyton Wilson coming up, followed by a conversation with Jasmine Walker, a first-round pick in the WNBA draft of the Los Angeles Sparks. She joins us from LA to talk about her first week as a professional basketball player. And as I mentioned as well, a celebration coming up. We will take you onto the field at Bryant-Denny Stadium and let you see and listen to all the pageantry of Alabama's national championship celebration for the 2020 season. Well, last Saturday it was a great Golden Flake A-Day game at Bryant-Denny Stadium as we take a look at our football headlines. Kind of a close game all throughout as the White defeated the Crimson 13-10. There were a lot of players out on both sides, but still got a good glimpse of what Alabama can be this season. So great to just be back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. I know a lot of fans listened on the radio as well as watched on ESPN, but tremendous Saturday inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium as the White defeated the Crimson 13-10. Quarterback Bryce Young certainly had some good moments on the field. He was named the Dixie Howell Memorial Award winner. That means he's the most valuable player of the A-Day game. Just a tremendous performance by Bryce Young. Certainly looks strong with the first team offense. Coming up again in this show today on Crimson Drive, we'll have a conversation with John Parker Wilson all about A-Day as well as the national championship celebration that was on the field for the 2020 national champion Crimson Tide. The Alabama baseball team last weekend, right after A-Day, was able to get a series victory against the Auburn Tigers, a thrilling Saturday walk-off win for Alabama. Tide also had a walk-off win in the game on Thursday. Just a tremendous weekend overall at Sewell Thomas, taking 2 out of 3 against the Auburn Tigers. Sam Prater for his great home runs, 3 in the last 6 games. He was named the SEC Player of the Week. And then Prater also homered again for the Crimson Tide on Tuesday as Alabama defeated North Alabama by an 8-6 score. Real come-from-behind victory for the Crimson Tide in that ball game. Certainly good to see for the Crimson Tide on Tuesday. Now coming up this weekend, it'll be Alabama on the road taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. Both Alabama and Kentucky 7-8 in the SEC as we're midway through conference action. Great opportunity for a series win coming up this weekend for Alabama on the road at Kentucky. Last weekend, it was a top 5 showdown between the Alabama softball team against the Florida Gators, and Florida ended up winning the series as Alabama did get one victory in that 3-game set against Florida. Then Wednesday night, Alabama was back in action at home at the Rhodes House before this weekend being at home against number 13 Louisiana, stepping out of conference play for just 2 games coming up this weekend on Saturday and Sunday here in Tuscaloosa. Last weekend, the Alabama gymnastics team saw their season come to a close at the NCAA championships as Alabama finished 5th in gymnastics. A very strong season for the SEC champion Crimson Tide, led by head coach Stan Duckworth. Even though the team may have finished 5th, Luisa Blanco was named the 2021 NCAA balance beam champion, and Lexi Graber won the floor exercise. So a pair of individual national championships for the Crimson Tide. Certainly great to see. Well, it was great to see so many people at Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday, including our color analyst on the radio, John Parker Wilson. He was the quarterback for the Crimson Tide in the late 2000s, the first quarterback of the Nick Saban era, and he joined me to not only break down A-Day, but also take a look at what's coming up as players get ready for the upcoming NFL Draft. I think you'll enjoy this conversation with Alabama legend John Parker Wilson. Well, we're really excited to talk some Alabama football. It was great to be back at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and that's where John Parker Wilson was this past Saturday watching the Golden Flake A-Day game. And John Parker, Roll Tide, how's everything going?
Good, man. Roll Tide. It was a great weekend all around, especially the football game.
Yeah, it certainly was, as we got a glimpse of what Alabama may be like in the fall. I know there are a lot of players out. There were some injuries here and there, but what were some of your main takeaways from this past Saturday?
You know, I think with the A-Day game, it's fun because you get to see a lot of new faces. You know, a ton of early enrollees, guys that should still be in high school, getting their chance to come out and play in Bryant-Denny for the first time, hoping that they can play in the fall and get some playing time. So a lot of good development with the young guys. And I think, we saw some new faces, especially on the offensive side with Bryce Young getting the start with the first team. And then Paul Dyson had a lot of playing time also. But I think our defense, man, I think what was a big question mark for our team last year is going to have a lot of depth and a lot of experience on that side of the ball where, the first half of last year just wasn't the case. So really good job from Pete Golding and the defense last year, the second half, leading the SEC in total scoring and coming back with a lot of good guys. We lost some players at key positions on both sides of the ball, but I think defense is going to have a lot to look forward to this year.
Yeah, you mentioned the quarterbacks, Bryce Young with the first team. Paul Tyson got to see him a lot as well. Just how important is this time of the year for those guys?
It's huge. Both guys have been there, been on campus for a couple of years now, but really haven't been the guy or had to prepare or think like they were the guy. With Mack Jones there, there's always competition, but the competition's back this year and who's going to be the starting guy. So they'll continue to push each other and get the team better. And that's what it's really all about. It's a unique dynamic in any room where there's positions that are trying to be won, but also at the same time knowing that, hey, this is a team game and we're trying to win as many football games in the fall. So good things from both guys. I think they played really well and handled the moment, right? And kept their composure with, sure, it was half capacity, but you're still at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You're still playing on national TV, and you're still trying to go out there to perform for the coaches and your teammates. So I think both guys handled it really well. Threw the ball nice and a lot of things to improve on, but I think a good start for both of them.
And of course, it's a kind of new offense for the Crimson Tide. Bill O'Brien takes over as the offensive coordinator. I know, again, they're not showing much during a spring game, but any kind of inkling you get into what he may be showing us coming up this fall?
Yeah, I don't think any coach is going to show everything they got during the spring game because they are on TV and everybody that we're playing, especially the Miami Hurricanes, are going to be watching that. I think from what we've seen over the past couple offensive coordinator cycles with Coach Saban is he's going to come in and really run the foundation of what's already there and then try to sprinkle in some new things that he likes or find different ways to attack whatever team we're playing. I think we kind of saw that from this week. A lot of the same stuff that we saw last year, play actions, off the run, a lot of two tight ends this week with Latu and with Billingsley. So I think we're going to see a lot of the same things and just try to build on that with personnel and just trying to keep everything, I think, as balanced as possible. Past few years, I think one of the strengths of this offense has been obviously the playmakers, but the ability to run or throw it really at any down on any part of the field, right? Last year, we were handing off with Najee, a lot of play actions down the field with Devontae. I think that's really going to continue with, bringing some new guys on at wide receivers, but I really like our backfield right now with Ryan Robinson coming back, Rodell Williams and Jace McClellan looked really good in the game. We saw Keelan Robinson a little bit. So a lot of depth at that running back position.
And of course, with so many new faces, how important it is to have somebody that's played a lot of meaningful football like Chris Owens kind of being the anchor of the offensive line?
I think it's really important. I think if he's going to be the center, it'll help out Bryce or Paul, whoever's back there, just getting everything set, right? Coming to the line, identifying who the middle linebacker is, knowing, if the safety starts walking down, he can help them change the protection and always put them in a good look. And that's just one thing off the quarterback's plate. I remember, I played with Antoine Caldwell, and it was so nice to have an experienced guy like that where you don't have to really micromanage the offense, right? You can get in the passing game, and if he's going to identify the right guy that's going to set the offense, okay, now we can go to run the play. You just trust that guy. He's going to do the right thing and get you in the right place. So it's one less thing the quarterbacks have to worry about, and it's an advantage. Experience is an advantage. If we don't have it at one position at quarterback, it is nice to have it up front at that center who can just, be a security blanket for those quarterbacks.
Of course, the spring game is unique for a lot of reasons. It's also unique because Coach Saban is on the field, and he was wearing that pink blazer, so he would stand out. He certainly did for the teams. They even tried to run away from him a couple times. Was it always unique knowing that your head coach is kind of right there during a game play like that?
Yeah, yeah. Because you don't want to run over him. You don't want to be the guy as the play breaks down and you're scrambling, or there's a defensive guy that gets the interception is running back. You get in there where the head guy's at all times. So nobody ran over him. Mission accomplished from all the players, but it is unique. It's a scrimmage, but at the same time, it was just the 15th practice. So he wants to be in there. You see it the whole time. He's coaching the guys. He's helping them out in the middle of a play. Yelling at the safety to get lined up right or whatever. It's not a lot different on game days. He's there. You can hear him yelling from the sidelines, especially last year with the limited capacity in the crowd. You can hear all the coaches yelling. So it's kind of normal for these guys. It's a little bit different on game day, but you still know where the head coach is at all times.
Well, of course, spring football is now done here at the University of Alabama. What are some of the next steps for this football team as they get ready for some of the offseason conditioning and then the really start of fall camp coming up in August?
It's really nice to get back into a normal football calendar where you get done with the season, then you do the off-season program conditioning and strength and conditioning where you're getting your body right. Okay, now you go to practice and you're trying to implement a new offense. You're trying to build on what the defense did last year. So you can take a step back and really go evaluate everything you did and see what works or what didn't work, or maybe we should improve whatever area it is. So you can take a step back, and then when fall camp gets here is to learn it all again. So it's just 3 or 4 different opportunities to learn and to get in there and just do the same things over. So we have 15 practices where they're installing plays. It'll be the same for fall camp. So now you're just trying to get in there, develop timing with the receivers, offensive linemen, learning how to work together, calling plays up front. And that just, it comes with time spent with watching film, with going out there in the summer and doing routes on air and 7-on-7. So now is the time, I think, where you can really work on fundamentals, work on your craft or whatever position you're playing, get back to basics, and then be ready to go full speed for fall camp, because that's when it really happens. That's when you got to start getting ramped up. And it's not about, working on fundamentals as much as it is putting in plays, knowing exactly what we're going to do, knowing what every iteration of the play is, and then just going out and playing fast on Saturday.
You mentioned evaluation, and right now for former Alabama players going through the NFL draft process, that's basically all it has been. And we talked with Mack Jones on Saturday. He said he's taken a million IQ tests, kind of getting ready for the draft. Just what is this process like for those guys? I'm sure that last week leading up to the draft, it's got to be the most stressful.
Oh man, it's a 5-month-long interview, and every day it's you're talking to new people, talking to new coaches or general managers or working out. So it's a fun time. It really is. But any rookie will tell you that rookie season is the longest year of your life, because you never stop. You're trying to get drafted. You're trying to make a team. Okay, now once you do get drafted, now you really got to get to work. You bust your butt for 5 months trying to get there, and then you get to camp or get to whatever team you're at. It's like this is a completely different level of being in the building all day long. There's no classes. It's just football. So it's a shock to these guys, but it's a fun process. And luckily, I think we're going to have a lot of guys go pretty high.
Yeah, we certainly saw that last year. I believe 4 in the first round. Now this year, it's projected maybe 5, maybe 6. Do you think anybody is most NFL ready of this group right now?
That's a really good question. I think all the guys that they're talking about going in the first round, but it's Mack and Najee, Leatherwood, Devontae, Waddle, possibly Patrick Surtain, I think would probably be the first round. I think maybe Christian Barmore gets some love in that. So I think all those guys are pretty experienced. Barmore, the youngest guy coming out early, has shown some serious flashes in his ability and athleticism and strength and just ability to be a wrecking ball up there in the middle. But the other guys have played, they're ready to go. And I think that's one of the things that the scouts and general managers look at is, hey, if they can play and get ready for Coach Saban, then they are in us already. Devontae and Najee, these guys coming back for their senior season, they're ready to go. And I think now it's for those guys getting into camp, learning the nuances of new playbooks and just how to operate on day to day, being a professional athlete. But these guys are ready to go. I mean, Coach Saban is probably runs a practice that's tougher than most NFL practices. So And I think, it's evidence in how many guys we have in the league and how many guys stay in the league. We're by and far away the most guys in the NFL right now from Alabama. So there's a reason that these guys translate well to the NFL.
Well, I asked kind of the next steps for the football team over the next few weeks. For you, I imagine it's watching more and more Alabama baseball because your younger brother Peyton has been swinging a hot bat for the Crimson Tide. You got to be really proud of the success he's having this year for Alabama.
Man, it's so fun to watch. Peyton's doing great, playing well, but the whole team is. And it's almost must-watch baseball. These guys are playing hard. The bats are working really well. We're getting the pitchers healthy, and it's just a scrappy bunch. They find a way to win late in these ball games. Two big wins against Auburn over the weekend, and Tuesday night a huge win against North Alabama. So they're fun to watch, man. They're just the whole lineup are hitting well, and I'm excited to see the pitcher. So we're getting in the thick of this SEC schedule. We're locked in every game.
Well, I'm interviewing him next on Crimson Drive. What do you want me to ask him? Anything we can embarrass him with? Anything like that?
Oh man. I'll have to send you a text to get back, but it's just it's awesome. I've got a 4-year-old son right now, and he is absolutely locked in to Uncle P playing baseball. So we don't miss a game, and it's just Coach Bohannon has been really getting these guys ready, and just the resilience of this team. So Peyton, he I don't know. I'll have to get back to you because he's been working so hard. I'm glad to see him have success and the whole team have success.
Well, the Wilson dynasty continues here at Alabama, and of course, Crimson Tide football team keeps rolling. John Parker, it was really great to see you at A-Day on Saturday, and we look forward to catching up with you a little bit closer to the season. It won't be that much longer until we're talking about the start of fall camp, but Roll Tide, thanks again.
Roll Tide, man, it happens quick, so looking forward to it.
Fun to catch up with JP, and as we mentioned, we have a conversation coming up with Peyton Wilson, who is the youngest of the Wilson brothers. Of course, John Parker, a great quarterback. Ross was a great middle infielder, later went on to play professional baseball. Now Peyton Wilson's really following in their footsteps. I think you'll enjoy getting to know a little bit more about the youngest Wilson brother, Peyton Wilson. Peyton, first of all, I just got to ask you, what has been the key for Alabama to having some clutch come-from-behind wins? We've seen some walk-off wins this past weekend against Auburn. I mean, you guys play really at your best, it seems, when your backs are against the wall.
Yeah, I think it's just the group of guys we have. We just always compete and we're never out of it. I think we've had 6 or 7 walk-off wins this year, which is a lot. So, I mean, I think we're always in the game. We always know that we're able to come back at any point. I think it's just the group of guys we have and just being able to compete through and do whatever we can to scratch out a W.
What are those celebrations like? We've seen Jim Jarvis flipping over the dugout rail. I mean, we've seen you guys chasing guys into center field. I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun. Those videos of Jim are pretty funny too. But yeah, they're just fun. They're just like, you're out of breath. Like when we walked off Auburn on Saturday and then we ran out to the right field, like I could barely breathe. I was just so hyped up and just so out of breath. It's just a lot of fun. And then you come in the locker room and you kind of do the same thing, just kind of dance around and just have fun with all your teammates and stuff. It's a good time. Just really undescribable how the kind of feeling it is. Just walk off like that. It's really fun.
Well, what can you tell us about this season? Going into the year, we heard Coach Bohannon say over and over again, the only way you learn how to play great baseball is by playing baseball games. You guys had so much practice in the fall and then getting ready for the year. But what'd you take from some of your early weekends in non-conference play?
Yeah, I mean, that is really Coach Bo says best. That's really the only way you can get better. You're just playing and playing all fall. That's all we did was just scrimmage and stuff. And then coming into the season, we played all the non-conference and we did good. We could have won a couple more games, feel like, but we were still learning, still like kind of gelling as a group. And then we took that in SEC play, and first 2 or 3 weeks were real close to just winning a couple series and just fell short of a couple, but we were real close. And then coming to Texas A&M, getting a sweep there, and then just going from there. We've been on a pretty good roll right there, and we hope to bring that into this weekend, just build the momentum, keep it going.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide in really good shape at this point in the SEC standings. And like you mentioned, maybe some games got away from you early in conference play, but that had to be a big adjustment going up against some of the SEC arms you guys got to see in those first few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, going up against Arkansas, Ole Miss, Tennessee to start the year, I mean, they're all top 10 teams. It's not not the easiest task to do, but I mean, like you said, we were right there with them the whole time. I think we could have won any game that we played against most all those teams. I mean, we competed well, and we didn't look like we had been there before, even though a lot of us really hadn't been there before. But I think we've done a good job of growing up from there and just not getting down ourselves from not starting off the best and just keeping it going and finding a way to get a couple wins and just hopefully just keep going the rest of the season, just scratch and claw our way to regional and all that.
Yeah, what's different about going up against an SEC pitcher? Because, you know, even in a lot of these non-conference games, seems like everybody has a good fastball. Is it the breaking stuff that separates all these elite SEC pitchers, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, the SEC, the pitching is just completely different than anybody else. I mean, most of the guys you face have 2 or 3 plus pitches, and most of them can throw them any count, wherever they want, whenever they want. It's just that's the biggest difference to me. Is just like the fastball velocity. Yeah, a lot of people have that, but like just the pitchability and the especially the older guys, they just know how to pitch a lot better than a lot of other people, and they just know what they're doing. They've been there, done that, and I mean they've gone against the best competition in the country for the past however many years, and they just know what they're doing. And it's a big adjustment going from just a pitcher that might have 1, maybe 2 pitches to going up against a guy that has 4 really good pitches. It's a big difference.
You've been locked in the leadoff spot all season long for the Crimson Tide. Have had some leadoff home runs, which has been a big boost for this lineup. Just what do you like about being the first man to get to step in the box for the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, I really like enjoying leading off. I mean, I'd say I'm probably a little bit more aggressive than some of the other leadoff hitters, but I mean, if they're going to throw a first pitch fastball, I mean, I might as well take a good swing at it. So that's that kind of mentality, just kind of going up there, being aggressive, just doing what I can to get on base. But yeah, I like leading off. I mean, starting off a game with a leadoff home run is it's not the worst thing in the world. I'll say that. So, I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I mean, you kind of set the tone for everybody, and then just the offense goes if you go some days. So I like that aspect of it.
Of course, you're a switch hitter as well. So I'll start by asking, which side of the plate did you learn to hit on first, and then how'd you develop as a switch hitter?
So yeah, I'm naturally left-handed. I've always just been left-handed. When I was about 7 or 8, my dad was like, "You're gonna start hitting right-handed." I think from himself and raising 2 other sons, he kind of knew that it's not the easiest thing to hit a left-handed breaking ball. You're left-handed, so I've always done it. From 7 or 8 till now. And then, I mean, like when you're growing up in high school and like prep and all that, you don't face that many left-handed pitchers. So the right-handed bats kind of, you definitely don't get as much. I mean, I've probably got more right-handed bats this year than I got all 4 years in high school, which is crazy. So my right-handed swing has come along a lot since I've got to college. Like when I came in, it wasn't the most comfortable thing. I was fine with it, but like it just wasn't as comfortable as my left-hand side. And then working with Coach Bo and Coach Z and Coach Julie, I mean, they've helped me out so much. I've gotten so much more confident and comfortable from the right side, and I feel like it's not I'm better one way or another. I feel comfortable both ways, and I'm really glad I do it. Makes it easier sometimes, that's for sure.
And getting ready for games, do you have to have like an equal amount of swings, both right-handed and left-handed? Does it depend on the starting pitcher you're going to face? How do you approach that in BP or in your cage work?
No, I do the same thing from both sides pretty much every day. I kind of pretty routine oriented, so I kind of just stick to my plan. I don't really, if it's a left-handed pitcher, I don't take more right-handed swings or anything like that. I just try to stay with my plan and my routine, and just hopefully that'll work for me.
Well, you've set it in pretty well as Alabama's everyday second baseman, but on the roster, you're listed as a utility player. We've seen you in the outfield before. We know you can catch as well. Do you love being versatile, and could we see you bounce around the diamond a little more coming up in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like being versatile. It kind of keeps you on your toes sometimes. I mean, I've been locked in at second base most of this year, but like the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh, where am I playing today? That kind of feeling. So kind of keeps you on your toes. You never know where you're going to play, but I mean, I think right now for me and for the team, it's like best if I play second. But I mean, I'm not opposed to say if something were bad or happens, somebody get hurt or anything like that, you just go and play wherever need be. I just want to do whatever is best for the team in any aspect of the game.
How good is your double play partner, your shortstop, Jim Jarvis?
He's really good. I mean, He's a very good infielder. He just knows what he's doing over there. He kind of controls the infield for us. I mean, I've learned a lot from Jim this spring and this fall, like just how he went about doing his infield stuff and his routine and stuff. I like what he does, so I kind of hopped in there with him, and he's helped me out. And I mean, he's just a great guy. I love Jim, one of my good friends. So it's comfortable knowing that you have a guy over there that knows what he's doing, and just makes my job easier if he's doing what he knows he can do.
You got to love as well your first baseman, Drew Williamson, such a big target. He can stretch. He can really, if the throw is a little bit off target, he can stretch and make it look like a really good throw by you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I probably owe Drew a couple, like a meal or something. That's for sure. He's helped me out once or twice. Yeah, but it feels good knowing you got a big old 6'5" first baseman. You just can pick it and reach out and do whatever you can to just make the play. It's definitely a security blanket for me, because sometimes I let that ball go and I have no idea where it's going. So,
well, that's pretty cool. What's your focus the next few weeks? As Alabama is kind of midway through SEC play right now. We got a big road trip coming up to Kentucky, but what are you really working on with your own game the most over the next little bit?
I mean, yeah, I think it's hard for you to go into like a series or thinking about the next series or the series after that. So I think the best thing for me is just taking it game by game, at bat by at bat, pitch by pitch, and just learning from that and learning from what the pitcher's doing that game, and not trying to overthink or overdo anything. Just trying to just play the game. That's Coach Bo always says, just go out there and play, and that's just what I like that mentality. And I don't try to think or overthink or think about the next week or anything like that. Just go there and do pitch by pitch and just take it like that.
Of course, it's a really Wilson family tradition to play at the Capstone. Were you always just hoping you would have the chance to wear that crimson jersey?
Yeah, there's no doubt. My mom started off cheering, and then obviously both my brothers played. My sister went to school here. It's just a long family tradition. My whole family's from Tuscaloosa, so just really no other place I wanted to be playing baseball right now or going to school or anything. Like, grew up, my falls were at Bryant-Denny and my springs were at the show. So like, there's nowhere else I want to be in my life right now. Just playing.
Yeah, talking about your brothers, John Parker Wilson, of course, was an Alabama quarterback. Ross was an infielder for the Crimson Tide. If you could give me a favorite memory of going to, first of all, a football game for John Parker, what was your favorite game you went to of his, and then favorite baseball game you went to for Ross?
My favorite football game for John Parker was either 2008 Iron Bowl, and we broke the 6-in-a-row streak. I think we beat them 36-0. So that was pretty cool. And he got a standing ovation when he left. Or the 2008 LSU game when they took his phone number and he kind of let them know about it. That was pretty cool. And for Ross, my favorite baseball game, let's see. I went to a lot. They were really good. I think his freshman year, he hit 2 bombs in 1 inning against Mississippi State. That was pretty cool. I went to every game. Watching Ross at the SEC tournament in Hoover was really cool because, like, I live less than 2 minutes away from the Mets. So, I mean, going there and watching him do his thing all those 3 years, those were probably my best memories, just because he would come over and all of his friends would come over and hang out at our house while they were there. And it was really fun watching them and watching them do what they did. And then they were a really good group of guys and really good teammates, and they played really well together. So they were really good. So that was really fun to watch over the years.
Well, we had John Parker talking about A-Day on the show earlier, and he mentioned how proud he is of you. He mentioned his little son's been watching every one of your games, really locked into everything you're doing. So definitely the family's proud of you, and Alabama fans are enjoying watching you play, Peyton. Best of luck what's coming up for the Crimson Tide, and just thank you for joining us today on Crimson Drive. Roll Tide.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Roll Tide.
Peyton Wilson certainly making his mark on the Alabama Crimson Tide baseball team. We wish him all the best as Alabama travels to Kentucky for what'll be a big Friday through Sunday series against the Wildcats on the Bluegrass. Peyton Wilson's had some solid performances as a sophomore. Somebody that had great performances as a senior for the Crimson Tide this past year was women's basketball's Jasmine Walker. 41 points on the road at Auburn. Some great performances as well in the SEC tournament, the NCAA tournament. With that, there was a lot of attention around Jasmine Walker, and we heard a lot of buzz that maybe she could be a top first-round pick in the WNBA draft. She ended up being the 7th overall player selected in the 2021 WNBA draft by the Los Angeles Sparks, and she joins us from Los Angeles to talk about a whirlwind week in the life of Jasmine Walker. Jasmine Walker now representing Alabama in the WNBA as she was selected last week, number 7 overall by the Los Angeles Sparks. And Jasmine, roll tide. How's everything going in sunny Southern California?
Roll tide, and everything's been going good. I'm enjoying the weather here. Been enjoying the environment, the scenery and stuff. Yeah, so everything's going really well here.
Has this been one of the craziest or the busiest weeks of your life?
Yeah, I could add it on to my list, but I have to say the week before the draft, the week of the draft was probably the busiest weeks of my life. Probably.
Yeah, what'd you do after Alabama's season came to a close in the NCAA tournament? What were those next few weeks like for you getting ready for the WNBA draft?
Hard work. I mean, I was traveling a lot. I want to say I started my workouts after Indianapolis, after that 3-point shooting contest. Yeah, I just started getting in the gym because, I know I had to do, being that I am pursuing my dreams and stuff. I knew that the work that I did put in wasn't enough. So, I had to continue to do what I had to do to make sure I'm ready for when my time is called.
And you certainly did that. Did you meet with a lot of teams over Zoom, and what were some of those meetings like?
Very good. They just wanted to know the person. They just wanted to see what type of person I was, what kind of conversations I was able to hold. Yeah, I enjoyed the many conversations I did have with the different teams that gave me a call and stuff and set up Zoom meetings with me and stuff.
Were the Sparks one of the teams that reached out to you in that time frame? Did you kind of have on your radar that they may be an possibility?
Yeah, I kind of knew that it was a possibility. A lot of teams said I was on their radar, so I wasn't surprised. I was just surprised on draft night, of course. Just very thankful that, the LA Sparks are here to give me an opportunity to be a part of their team.
And of course, on draft night last Thursday, you were at Coleman Coliseum. What can you tell us about the people you had inside there? It looks like a lot of your friends, a lot of teammates, family were there. Just who all was there, and what was that experience like for you?
It was a great experience. Those people in that room are very special to me. They hold a certain place in my heart, each and every one of them. So it was a very exciting moment for me. I'm pretty sure it was an exciting moment for them to be there for me. So, I'm glad we all experienced that night. Yeah, it was wonderful.
I bet. And of course, the Sparks pick you up number 7 overall. Just was that one of the happiest moments of your life when you finally see your name called and you get to put on that hat for the first time?
I was thrilled. I don't know if anybody seen my face when they first called, but I was like, it was an unbelievable moment. I couldn't even talk when they was asking me those questions. I didn't even know what to say. I was just speechless.
Well, you're drafted on a Thursday night. What are the next steps after that? How quickly did you get to Los Angeles, and what has this week been like for you?
Got drafted Thursday. Got into Los Angeles Sunday afternoon. So been here. Right now we're undergoing quarantine. So right now I'm not able to do as much. So got to go through the protocols that the WNBA requires us to do. So, just keeping safe and being away from COVID. That's all that we worried about right now. Still trying to work on getting into the swift of things and stuff, getting ready for training camp. But as of right now, we're undergo on quarantine as of right now.
So you're undergoing quarantine right now and trying to bubble off and make sure you guys are healthy and good to go. Have you been able to talk or text with a lot of your teammates, and including the head coach of the Sparks, Derek Fisher?
Yes. Yeah, we're communicating as a team, and he's communicating with us what's asked of us or what's going on in the world as well.
And I'm sure you have some familiar faces on there. Taya Cooper played in the SEC before. Anyone else on that roster you knew from your time previously?
I don't know anyone personally, but I've heard of, and watched I've watched this team play. So I'm familiar with all the faces that's here. Yeah, but I am more familiar with Taylor Cooper than the rest because, I played against her a couple times. But I'm also familiar with the faces that's here currently.
Well, it's got to be exciting as you get ready for the season. What are you trying to work on the most with your game, trying to fit in now to professional basketball?
Just getting better and doing what's asked of me. Being more focused on my ball handling, but also playing to my strengths, shooting the ball very well. That's what I look to do. I look to do the things that I've been doing, for is rebounding the ball, shooting the ball, pushing the ball and stuff. But more so, in my main focus into being able to get comfortable with my ball handling.
How proud of you of the season that Alabama just had and really everything you're able to put together in your Crimson Tide career? I'm sure you're glad it ended in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I'm proud. I got to do it with an amazing group of girls. Probably was the best season I've ever been a part of since I've been there in Alabama. Being able to put the work in with those individuals, and we made history in 1 year. So I feel like that's a lot to be proud of. So yeah, that's all I can say is it was an amazing moment. It was an amazing season. So I'm proud of what we did this final season I was a part of.
Do you have any advice for guys like John Petty or Herbert Jones that now are starting to get ready themselves for the NBA draft? We just heard on Wednesday that John Petty is formally declared.
Oh, really? Enjoy it. I mean, this is what you work for, so enjoy it, embrace it. And when you get there, don't stop working, because there's plenty of people in the WNBA that I have to be ready for, and it's plenty of people in the NBA they gotta get ready for it. So never start working.
All right, final question. This is a really hard-hitting question. Do you know if you'll get to wear the number 40 for the Sparks?
As of now, yes, I will keep wearing 40.
Well, we certainly love to hear that. Well,
I'm not.
Jasmine.
I said I would not be letting that number go. I will remain 40. So.
That's certainly awesome to hear. Well, congratulations on your success at being selected number 7 overall in the first round of the WNBA draft by the Los Angeles Sparks. We just look forward to when the Sparks hit the hardwood, we get to see number 40 in action. But thank you so much for joining us and for everything you've meant to Alabama women's basketball. Roll Tide, Jasmine.
Roll Tide, and thank you.
Thanks to Jasmine for joining us from Los Angeles. Cannot wait to watch her play for the Los Angeles Sparks coming up. Well, the Crimson Tide football team, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, held a day on Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but it was really special as soon as the game was over. It was not done on the field because the 2020 National Championship team was honored at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we wanted to sit back and let you watch all of the celebration, just in case you weren't inside the building on Saturday. Just sit back, listen, and watch the great celebration that Alabama had for the 2020 National Champion Crimson Tide.
Everybody. Welcome, everybody, to our celebration of the Crimson Tide's 18th College Football National Championship. My name is Chris Stewart. It's my honor to welcome you on behalf of the University of Alabama to this celebration where we recognize a team that overcame the challenges of COVID, posted a perfect 13-0 record, the first undefeated season since 2009. Southeastern Conference champions, Rose Bowl champions, college football playoff champions for the 6th time in 12 years, and the 3rd CFP title since 2015, and also an NCAA record 16 national awards. A huge thank you to the support staff, administration, coaches, players, and especially the best fans in all of college football, you, the fans of the Crimson Tide. This year's senior class posted a 51-4 record over the last 4 seasons. The class has also been a part of 2 SEC titles, 3 college football playoff appearances, and 2 national championships. Now, please join me in recognizing each of the 2020 captains. The Outland Trophy winner, unanimous All-American, co-winner of the Jacobs Blocking Trophy, and a veteran of 41 career starts, Alex Leatherwood. The 2020 Remington Award winner as the nation's top center, co-winner of the Jacobs Blocking Trophy and a unanimous All-American pick, Landon Dickerson. A two-time captain, the first receiver to win the Heisman Trophy in 29 years, winner of the Maxwell, Biletnikoff, and Horning Award, Devontae Smith. And a young man who turned in one of the best seasons for a quarterback in college football history, winner of the Davey O'Brien, Manning, and Unitas Golden Arm Awards. He set the NCAA single-season record for completion percentage and passer efficiency, Mack Jones.
Hey guys, first of all, just thank you all for coming out today, but last year was amazing. Sorry with my teammates. Y'all did a great job buying in, with the COVID year from Zoom meetings all the way through. So I have utmost respect for all y'all, and we all owe it to you. You're going to have a great year next year, too. So I'm looking forward to it. Coaches, thank you for everything. Coach Saban for having a plan through the whole year. The players' families sticking with us and believing in us. And obviously the fans. You guys did a great job, as always. So we can't thank you enough. It was a great year last year, but we know what we do here. We got one more coming next year, so we're going to try and get it. Appreciate you guys. All right, roll tide.
Fans, please turn your attention to the north end of the stadium as we raise the 2020 National Championship flag to fly above Bryant-Denny Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause as we raise this piece of Alabama football history. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 was Coach Nick Saban's second undefeated national championship team. He won the Paul Bear Bryant Coach of the Year Award, captured his 7th SEC title at Alabama, saw his team win a record 15 individual awards, had 7 players honored as first-team All-Americans. Please welcome our coach, Nick Saban.
Thank you. I really don't know if all the fans here really realize what these guys were able to accomplish. There's been no season that had more challenges, and these guys overcame every obstacle that we could ever have presented to us. This is the best togetherness we ever had on the team. We didn't have issues off the field, in the classroom, or on the field. This was the best team. I'm not saying we had the best players. I'm saying this was the best team that was committed to a standard of excellence and to each other to accomplish something of significance. And winning a national championship is something special that'll stay with every one of these players for the rest of their life. I appreciate the fans. I'm only sorry that you weren't here to be able to support the team like you normally do, which is a great part of the tradition. I appreciate our administration, our college president, Greg Byrne, the people in the athletic department who support us and allow us to help our players be successful in every way. But all this right here is really special because of a special group of people, the players and coaches who made this team what it is. And I'll forever be indebted to every guy on this team because of what they were able to accomplish in the circumstances that they had to play. I love every one of you. God bless you, and roll tide.
Great moments for the national champions, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and on Monday, the players and staff were presented with their national championship rings, along with the SEC championship ring, playoff ring as well. Just a tremendous honor for this Crimson Tide football team, and what a fun way to cap what has been a great year of Alabama football. Now Coach Saban and the staff will get ready for the upcoming season in 2021, but great to take a look back at everything that was accomplished back in 2020. We're going to look ahead as well on Crimson Drive to what's ahead for the Crimson Tide coming up this weekend as we take a look at our weekend schedule. Well, the baseball team, a great opportunity at Kentucky, both the Wildcats and the Crimson Tide at 7-8 on the year, so really critical for both sides to try and get a series win as Alabama will play at 5:30 on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then a noon start from what we're told is a very frigid Kentucky at the moment. They had some snow in Lexington on Wednesday, so hopefully if you're making the trip, bundle up to watch the Crimson Tide play baseball against Kentucky in late April. Softball team will have warmer weather, and we hope sunny skies at Rhodes Stadium as they host Louisiana in a top 20 showdown between the Raging Cajuns and the Crimson Tide. Both Saturday and Sunday will start at 1:30. We'll have radio coverage of those games in softball. Same can be said for baseball here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That's going to wrap up Crimson Drive. We certainly thank all of you for watching here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Special thanks go to Ethan Carabin, our Facebook Live producer, for putting all of this together. Thanks as well to our guests, John Parker Wilson, Peyton Wilson, Jasmine Walker, and also we thank the Alabama Athletic Department for allowing us to show you the celebration for the 2020 national champions at Bryant-Denny Stadium. This has been Roger Hoover saying so long from the capstone and Roll Tide. Thanks for watching Crimson Drive.